The movie opens with captivating scenes of fish and sharks swimming in an aquarium, accompanied by a woman gliding gracefully through the water. Mark, a teenager, is excitedly celebrating his 18th birthday with a lively pool party. As he puts on his swim trunks, he admires his reflection in the mirror. Meanwhile, Walter is busy checking out the girls at the party, while Mark has a crush on Melanie. Eager to throw another party, Mark devises a plan to have his mother, Tanya, go on a date with a man named Randy, ensuring the house will be empty for the festivities. With Tanya out, Walter and Mark invite girls over and start mixing drinks. Their fun is interrupted when a deacon arrives, suggesting a game of Bible trivia or something similar, which is Tanya's way of keeping an eye on Mark during the party. The next morning, she sweetly sings "You Are My Sunshine" while making breakfast for him. While helping with chores, Mark meets an elderly woman named Carissa. She asks about a shower head, and after learning that his mother loves it, she decides to buy it. Carissa invites Mark to help her install it and discreetly shows him some cash. After successfully installing the shower head, they celebrate with a beer. Carissa then removes her robe and steps into the shower, inviting Mark to try out the new fixture. Feeling hot, Mark opts for a refreshing shower as well. Afterward, they wander through different parts of the house. When Mark shares his adventures with Walter by the pool, Walter becomes extremely jealous. Tanya and Randy's relationship continues to develop, as does the bond between Mark and Carissa. When Carissa arrives to take Mark out for martinis, Tanya becomes suspicious of the fancy car, thinking it's too lavish for a high school student. During their date, Mark talks about an app he created, impressing Carissa, who believes it could be worth $1 million. As Carissa steps away for a moment to use the restroom, a young man approaches Mark at the table, warning him to leave while he still can. Tanya grows increasingly frustrated as Mark spends more and more time away from home. Later, Mark goes suit shopping with Carissa and enjoys a swim in her pool, proudly displaying his youthful physique. Intrigued by a shed in the backyard, Mark asks about it, and Carissa mysteriously refers to it as her torture chamber. While going through Mark's phone, Tanya finds messages from Carissa and decides to invite her over for dinner, mistakenly thinking she's just a high school girl. When Carissa arrives, Tanya gives her a fierce, protective glare, setting the stage for an incredibly awkward dinner. Carissa mentions Mark's impressive app, unintentionally suggesting he shouldn't pursue college, which sets Tanya off. Tanya firmly reminds Carissa that Mark is still just a boy, while Carissa playfully argues that he is very much a man. The tension rises as Tanya snaps at Carissa, accusing her of being a desperate older woman. In response, Carissa suggests that Tanya should ease up on her overprotectiveness. Carissa storms out, declaring that Tanya is even worse than a shark mom. Mark leaves with Carissa, and they head off for a swim. In a surprising twist, she playfully handcuffs him to the stairs, engaging in activities that remain hidden from view. The next morning, Carissa wakes him up in an unconventional way, leading Mark to comment that it's a great way to start the day. They talk about plans to visit the beach, hinting at the continuation of their earlier escapades. Meanwhile, Tanya conducts extensive research on Carissa before confronting her in a heated discussion. The conversation quickly escalates into a catty exchange filled with insults and drama worthy of a soap opera. As this unfolds, Mark, getting dressed in Carissa's room, unexpectedly discovers a gun. When Carissa suggests that Mark move in with her, he turns her down, prompting a chilly reaction from her. Later, Mark reaches out via video call to apologize, and while Carissa accepts his apology, she sets a stipulation: he must ignore his mother's influence. Carissa insists that he choose between her and his family. Concerned about Mark's relationship with Carissa, Tanya arranges a date for him with Melanie, someone more suitable for his age. The date goes well, ending with a kiss that leaves Mark enchanted and Tanya excited. However, Carissa is not pleased with this turn of events and decides to take action. She hides in the back seat of Melanie's car, armed with a knife, and confronts her, slashing her face as a warning to keep her distance from Mark. Meanwhile, the presence of sharks becomes significant as Randy works at an aquarium. Tanya tries to mend things with Randy by bringing him muffins, only to discover he is breaking up with her, citing her annoyance and his wish not to be a fallback option. At the same time, Carissa visits the aquarium, fascinated by the sharks and attempting to attract Randy's attention. Frustrated with her behavior, Randy ultimately kicks her out. Mark confides in Walter about wanting to end his relationship with Carissa. Seeing a chance, Walter decides to pursue Carissa himself. He tries to impress her by calling her vintage, but his approach backfires. Carissa, unimpressed and possibly irritated, responds by grabbing a butcher knife. Mark tries to reconnect with Melanie through a video call, but she conceals her scars and tells him she can't see him anymore. Feeling dejected, Mark returns to Carissa, dressed in a suit for a pitch meeting regarding his app. Although the programmer offers him a job, he declines the app itself. Excited to celebrate Mark's new job, Carissa is met with his wish for independence. In a fit of rage, she strikes him violently in the back of the head as he attempts to leave. Mark regains consciousness in a sauna, bound in his boxers, and pleads with Carissa to let him go. Carissa sits on his lap, delivering a chilling monologue about the importance of women while rubbing him. She then sears him with a hot poker, telling him to relax. Worried about Mark's mysterious disappearance, Tanya seeks help from Randy, but he stands there uselessly, looking foolish. Carissa takes Mark's phone and sends a text to Tanya, making it seem like it's from Mark himself. When Tanya arrives at Carissa's house, she hesitantly steps inside for a drink. As they sip wine, Tanya accuses Carissa of being unstable. Carissa produces a handcuff, insisting that Tanya wear it if she wants to see Mark. She forces Tanya into an impossible choice between Mark and herself, presenting a gun with a single bullet. After leaving the gun behind and locking the door, Tanya wrestles with her decision. As time ticks away, suspense builds with shots of sharks swimming. In a moment of desperation, Tanya aims the gun at herself, but suddenly has a clever idea. She grabs hot stones, creates a loud noise, and pretends to collapse next to the gun. This unexpected act catches Carissa off guard, and as she approaches, Tanya launches a fierce counterattack, resulting in a violent struggle between the two women. In a dramatic twist, Tanya manages to pull Mark out of the sauna, with Carissa hot on their heels. Just as Carissa is about to strike, Randy steps in, hurling a trident that neutralizes the threat. To everyone's astonishment, Walter emerges alive from a box, and the reunited group decides to hit the road to college together. Having learned a valuable lesson, Tanya becomes less controlling, allowing her son to make his own decisions. She also rekindles her relationship with Randy, who saved them with his surprising trident skills. As the film wraps up, Walter's new girlfriend, a senior citizen, arrives on wheels. And that concludes the story.